Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're all having a nice time. Today's video is somewhat different because I thought, why not? Let's try something else. It's more like a podcast, let's say, because there's no image, so you can put your, you know, um, headphones and do your housework or walk out and listen because there won't be any optical stimulus. So it's all acoustic. Well, the thing is that today's video is about the differences between Hellraiser movie and the Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. Basically, the movie follows the same basic outline as the Hellbound Heart book. There are several changes, which is very interesting because, it's the only or from the let's say outnumbered situations that the adaptations from the book to the movie do not cause any turbulence in the artistic world, let's say it, and put it this way. What I want to say is that Clive Barker, who wrote the book, also wrote the screenplay for the film version and directed it. So he didn't complain for any changes to his work, and basically he was the one that made the changes. So, he didn't have anyone to complain to. And I believe we can dive into the differences between the book and the movie adaptation. Number one is the ages and the relationship between the major characters. In the book, we have Rory and Julia, which are at their, let's say, mid-20s. And Kirsty, which is in the book, is Rory's friend, is at this age too, let's say. And Frank is 29 years old. For the film, Julia and Rory are much older, and Kirsty is now Rory's daughter from his previous marriage. The only details we know is that Kirsty's mother died, and Kirsty and Julia do not like each other. Another thing is the box. In the Hellbound Heart, the book, the box is known as the Le Marchand configuration. And Frank, the uncle that acquires it from a criminal in Düsseldorf, big parenthesis here, or not, the criminal tells him a lot of information and what Frank needs to do about the ceremony he needs to perform in order to summon the Cenobites. So in the book, this is described in amazing detail, which is not transformed, let's say, in the movie, in the film. So yes, this is the different one more difference. The box in the book is described as being almost entirely black and shiny inside with very little decoration. In the film, when we see Frank holding the box, basically buying it in Morocco. The box is gold and decorated with an amazing design outside, and which is very unique and stunning. The other thing is basically the third difference is that Frank Cotton, the Uncle Frank, in both the book and the film, is portrayed as a selfish, sadistic criminal who is tired of the pleasure of the flesh and seeks to explore otherworldly delights. In the book, Frank is reanimated but trapped in the wall of the house until he receives more blood from Julia, who doesn't back off but tries to help him. So she brings into the house some men, one at a time, in order for Frank to be fed and get stronger. At the beginning, he doesn't talk very much. The thing is, in the film, Frank talks right away and talks a lot. He explains everything to Julia about his condition, his escape. The thing is that he meets the same horrific ending in the book and in the movie. Let's go to the fourth. It is the fourth, I believe. The age is a box, Frank. So yes, it's the fourth. The fourth difference is Kirsty. In the book, Kirsty is a friend and co-worker of Rory, who also has a crush on him. And she agrees when Rory asks her to check Julia because he feels that she is not okay. She hides something, She doesn't want to go out of the house, and her behavior is so down and let's say cold. So this is the book aspect. In the film, Kirsty is the daughter of Larry, and she's followed by a mysterious figure, let's say, a man who seems mysterious and hit by faith. And he has so vivid and piercing eyes. And he shows up at her work at the pet store, and it's crickets from a tank, which is a very, let's say, turbulent scene. Okay. It's not the most pleasurable thing to see when you're reading, for sure. So yes, this is the thing. After that, she moves to town to be close to her father, and she sees so many nightmares. One of her nightmares, which makes her so anxious about her father, is that she sees a baby crying, the figure drenched in blood on a bed. So she worries that something bad is gonna happen to Rory. She calls her father to see if he's okay, and her father confirms that it's okay, nothing happened. She just saw a really ugly nightmare, and it's all okay. Let's see what else. What else? In the movie, Kirsty also has a boyfriend named Steve. In the book, is not mentioned anywhere, basically. The fifth difference is while Pinhead has become a legendary figure of horror, as well as a fan favorite of the franchise, the character has a minor role in the book. Basically, is not mentioned at all in the book as Pinhead, which is something, let's say, like a nickname that was given to him for the movie part. Also, Pinhead, like all of the Cenobites, is genderless, though described as having a feminine voice. Pinhead's physical appearance in the book is the same, but its actions don't even cover a whole page. In the movie, in the film adaptation, he makes several appearances and steals another famous line from another Cenobite who says it in the book. The famous
"We have set sights to show you."
In this part, let me say to you that I have read the translated in Greek translation book. So when I saw the phrase "make him confess" and maybe we will not tear your soul apart, in Greek it's said like «Κάνε τον να ομολογήσει και ίσως να μην ξεσκίσουμε την ψυχή σου», which is somewhat like funny, because I have seen the film and the tension that exists in this scene is unbelievable. The way that Duff Bradley says it,
"We will tear your soul apart."
This sounds funny, if you listen it from me trying to make Duff Bradley's voice, which not even close. But okay, the tension in the movie is unbelievable. It's another thing. So in the book, you cannot feel this way, and for sure, the Greek translation doesn't help at all. It sounds like funny, but I don't know if I have read it in its original language. Maybe it was different, and okay, I don't know if the original book comes into my hands someday. I will tell you, believe me. But in this book and the Greek translation versus the movie, the movie tears your soul apart. It's something else. You can't read this. Which leads me to my next video, which I don't want to say this because every time I say something, all the bad things happen and all the bad scheduling. So, yes. But if all, the things go okay, my next video or some of my next videos will be movies versus books and the difference, the advantages, the disadvantages, etc., etc., etc. You fill in the gap here because there are so many things to fill in the gaps. Yes. So, enough with my rambling, because if I start rambling, I do not stop. This is true and well known by now. Well, I lost track. I believe we are in the sixth difference, which after Pinhead we have the Cenobites. In the book, four Cenobites appear to Frank, who has knowledge of them from his discussion with the man who sold him the box. In the movie, they are accompanied by the sound of a tolling bell. Frank says he heard there were five of them, and they tell him that the engineer, which is the fifth Cenobite, only appears when necessary. Like Pinhead, the other Cenobites are similar in their appearance to their movie version, full of scarifications, hooks, piercings, gore generally, these movies, the gore thing. They are also referred to with non-binary pronouns, although Kirsty later refers to the one who visits her in the hospital as he. And like the Cenobites in the book, they have no way of keeping track of the souls that escape them. So they are delighted when Kirsty says she can deliver Frank. Of course, they do not believe her in the beginning. Basically, they do not believe her until they see Frank and hear him confess himself that he is Frank, because he has taken Rory's appearance and his skin, basically, so they cannot recognize him until he admits he is the one that they are looking for. And then we go to our seventh difference, which is the hospital stay of Kirsty. In both the book and the film, Kirsty is brought to a hospital after she is found wandering the streets with the box. In the book, although, Kirsty is grateful and polite to the staff and later opens the box, which invites one Cenobite to her room. In the film adaptation, Kirsty is aggressive with the staff and tries to escape. When she opens the box, a huge corridor appears in the wall. So she walks down it to investigate the sound of the crying baby from her dreams, only to discover a giant creature which is, let's say, of scorpion-like creature, let's say, because it has this form which brings you this image to the mind, with a humanoid head and rows of teeth, sharp teeth, that will tear the flesh and the bones, basically, human bones. So I believe it would be very easy for the particular creature to do that. Well, she sees the creature and she starts running in order to escape and go back to her room. So the creature is running behind her. It chases her back to her room, where the bell starts tolling and the Cenobites all appear. And here is the part that she trades her life with Frank's, and she tells them that, Frank is alive, and I will and I can bring him to you. The next thing, and the eighth, is the eighth difference, basically. It's Julia. Julia, in both the book and the film, is stopped by Frank and with James from Kirsty in the beginning, and not wanting to waste good flesh, drains her for his own energy. So we see that Julia, that cold-blooded bitch, basically, is a victim after all of Frank's. Let's put it this way: Frank's bad character. In the book, also, Kirsty is escaping the house after the Cenobites get their hooks in Frank, and she comes across a figure in a wedding dress and veil, and she assumes she is Julia. Julia, we know before in the book, that is drained by Frank. And then she sees basically Julia in her wedding dress and the veil, and she sees that in her lap, let's say, has her severed head. And says Kirsty that it is the engineer. In the movie, after the Cenobites make Frank into pieces, they decide to go back on their deal with Kirsty and, take her too. So she finds the box in the hands of Julia's now faceless corpse, which has somehow been chained to a bed, and flees the house, basically. The next thing, and the ninth in the order, is the ending. The ending in the book. In the book, Kirsty is allowed to escape the house after the Cenobites capture Frank, where she encounters the man who gives her the box. In the film, there is a lot more to the ending. The Cenobites go back on their deal. They try to capture Kirsty, who recovers the box from Julia's corpse and goes out of the house. But not before she encounters Steve, the boyfriend, who showed up to rescue her. She then uses the box to destroy the scorpion creature, on her way out of the collapsing house. Kirsty throws the puzzle box into the bonfire. Suddenly, the man who ate the crickets in the pet store, appears. The thing is that when the box is in the fire trying to burn, the particular man grabs it and transforms into a winged skeleton demon dragon and flies off. It is thought that he represents the engineer in the film, though he is not so named. And then we see the man from the bazaar selling the box to another customer, saying, "What's your pleasure, son?" Also, let's say 11 in series, is that the film is set in America and not in England like in the book. In the film, Julia finds a box of Frank's pornographic photos, and Kirsty and Steve share a walk and kiss, and neither event happens in the book. Julia kills her victims with a knife in the book and a hammer in the movie. In the film, also, Frank fillets a rat, while Julia and Larry have an intercourse, let's say. And in general, there are a lot of more rats everywhere. Last but not least is the cyclical storytelling. That raises the possibility that these events have happened before. And at the start of the film, when Frank buys the box, the man who sells it to him says, "Take it, it's yours, it always was." Then, after the Cenobites first pull Frank apart, a hand attached to an arm in the sleeve of a brown trench coat, like the derelict, is seen wearing is someone putting the pieces of a face back together. The face look like Rory, not Frank, complete with the same hooks in the same places Rory has at the end of the film when he is ripped apart as Frank disguised in Rory's body. It's giving birth to the question, is experiencing this cycle of events over and over again part of Frank's internal torture? We will never know. So basically, these are the differences and all that are have been spotted basically between the book and the movie adaptation. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you stayed by now, really thank you. This is something new as an idea that came to me. So if you liked it, please tell me in the comments, and if you would like to make videos like this, from the differences between books and movies. And if you liked, you can press the like button, subscribe to the channel in order to see more videos, and of course comment below because I would like to hear your opinion and if you have spotted any other differences, and if you have any ideas for future videos, and if you would like to see something specific, maybe. Uh, that's all, I believe. I have said it all. I have talked a lot, and if I got you tired, I'm sorry for that. I hope not, basically. And if you stayed until now, many, 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 many kisses. And we will talk again in another video. Bye! Once he opens the box, basically a huge Horridor, oh my god,